Right, I think there we go. We're off and running. Right, how are we all doing? Hope everyone's well. Again, the clue's in the name really. So I got an itch. Got an itch behind my knee. I'm not doing anything dodgy. Right. Anyway, yes, the clue is in the name. How I am writing up my program at the moment for my up and coming competition. Now, the first time round, there was two events which I was kind of training for, but it's really, you don't realise how big the sleeve end of a monster dumbbell is until you pick it up. Now, what do I mean when I say sleeve end? Okay, so I should have really got a dumbbell up to. Here we go. We'll say this is a dumbbell. The middle bit, that's the handle, and the other bits, the sleeves, those are the bits on the end that you hook the weights on. Now, if you go on the website and look under my blogs, click on First Strongman Competition, and you'll see there's like pictures there. Or hop over onto Instagram. Instagram, really, that's the best way to get to the pictures. Or Facebook. So yeah, you flip over to my Instagram page, and you'll see I put all the pictures there of the day itself. And this monster dumbbell. Now, what I've been doing at home, I've got just using a standard dumbbell handles. I say standard; they're Olympic standard really, because just the sleeves are thicker, and I was just literally hooking dumbbell, just putting the discs, plates, whatever you call them, whichever your preference, on the end of the sleeves. So I was essentially recreating the movement as best I could, but when you're using a dumbbell and you've put some like plates on the end of it, it will like dig into your shoulder bit there, you know, where you're holding it up like this, but it's much closer to your fist. Essentially, your hand is much closer to your face, because there's the disc, and it's sitting up there, and you're trying to recreate the movement. Then you touch a monster dumbbell for the first time, and the sleeves are actually the thickness of the plate that you load them into, and they are like this big either side. I mean, you see the picture. I'm not going to lie. On the you see on the pictures, the one that I actually was pressing was empty. That was just like warm-ups, and even that in itself felt pretty heavy. So you get it up there, and it's sort of like you can't see anything because there's this huge thing like blocking the path. So while I recreated it as best as I could, I mean, it was never going to be a good one for me, that one, because my pressing would be my definite weakness. So I was kind of prepared for that event to not go in my favour, but yeah, the first goal. If I'm doing a competition again and it's a monster dumbbell is involved in it, I'm gonna have to bite the bullet and buy a monster dumbbell, because there's no way of recreating it if you haven't got an actual monster dumbbell itself. So if you want to get the feel of it before you're actually competitioning with it, either, well, I say they do cost an arm and a leg. So unless you can find yourself a cheapy one, or find yourself a gym with strongman equipment, yeah. Yeah. And of course, the other event that didn't really work out my way was the sandbag toss. Now, looking back on the photos, one of them, it looks like I got about, I think, half a metre, maybe half a metre from going over. So I'm actually a little bit more happy with that than I would have been because of course you're doing it there and you hear it hitting it, and you feel that it's gone past. Gotta go get it, Paul. So I got to run back, get the bag. Oh. So, but any case, it's something I'm going to work on. Now, I've thought of a way around this. I'm going to buy a couple of lengths of some like carcass timber. You know, like stud work would work. You know, for build like sheds and stuff like that. Because the lengths that I bought when I built my shed were about 4.8 meters, I think. Massive things. So I thought, if that was the height of them, or the length of them was 4.8, I can get 2 points of them, chop off the 0.8 on either side, get a couple of bits of old like tattered wood that I've got, and build my own stand. And then take it up to the local field, buy a sand throwing bags, and then actually properly, you know, practice with the things I'm using on the day of the event. That said, I am still pretty chuffed with how things went on the day. I say I only failed 2 events. Obviously, that did cost me a lot of points, but I only failed 2 events. I'd never done a yoke before. I got the yoke done on the dying second, but I got it done. Would have been nice to have got all 5 stones on the stone run, but that said, I've been training with a 75 kilogram sandbag, and I was able to get the 4th 90 kilo stone. I think I might have gone for the ton if I had the time, but pretty much as I got the 4th one on, it was like time. So what can you do? What can you do? So yeah, so how I programmed it, how I would program if you've got a competition coming up. You got to make sure you are practicing the events themselves. Again, if you don't have the exact equipment, you have to try and find a way of working a way around it. Now, I'm quite lucky with this competition. There's not that many events that are that crazy, I would say. It's a standard deadlift. Now, the deadlift goes in any strength program. Any program in which you're going to be incorporating strength, especially or almost indefinitely if it's for competition. But even if it's not for competition, because some people are a bit hesitant with the deadlift, different people, different opinions, obviously risk reward factor, but it pretty much comes down, my own personal opinion, what it pretty much comes down to is if you want to get physically stronger, you need to deadlift. You need to be doing some form of deadlifting. It's just such a all-rounder as exercises go. You know, you're incorporating a lot of muscle groups in your deadlift, and yeah, well, for the purpose of this video is definitely talking about programming for a competition. And if you're going for a strongman competition, I can tell you now there will be a version of a deadlift in it, because there just will. There's some things that are just the way they are, and you have to learn how to deal with it and deadlift. So yeah, the first event for this competition I'm going in for is a standard deadlift, which makes life quite easy really, because all I need to do is standard height, standard bars, standard from what I can gather. So that's pretty easy one to put in there. The next one is an axle floor to overhead rising weight. Now the start off weight for this is 70 kilos. Now I would like to think, I hope, I could at least get the 70 kilos up and over. So I won't fail that event. I might not get loads of points on it, but if I can at least get one up, that's one gone. Now, I do not have an axle, and I know I was umming and ahhing about getting one, but I've got to be perfectly honest. My money's not entirely my own at the moment. You know, I have got a family to support, so really and truly, I'm just going to suck it up and keep going with the fat grips I got. What they do is obviously you put them round the stand, your standard bar, and they fatten it up. So yeah, I'm doing that at the moment. Unless I have a nice little tiny windfall come through, I'll probably just stick with what I'm doing. Yes, so what you could do if you're in a situation similar to mine, where you've only got like standard weights, I would say get yourself some fat grips, put them over. That'll make the bar chunkier. They're quite cheap, I'd say. Normally it's somewhere between I think I paid about somewhere between £10 to £15 for the fat grips that I got. The next event is Farmer's Walk. Now, I don't have farmer's handles, but what I have got a hex bar, so I may well just stand in that and do some marching on the spot, or go for some walks if I can with the hex bar. That's one method. The second one, which I have done today, is I bought a cheap pulley attachment system that you can hook over if you've got a cage or a rack or whatever you want to call it, and I have got one. So yeah, and it's got like loads of attachments and whatnot. Now, so what I've done, the connecting the tube at the bottom that connects that you hook the weights onto, I've put them on top of there. On one of the handle attachments, there's like a single handle, so I hook that to there, and then it's sort of like replicating a dinghy stone. I put this in my program 2024 Strong, I think it was. I think it's in there. Anyway, I'll put it in there because I love doing it. And I had a thought to myself, it is a good one for grip, and obviously grip is going to need to come into effect when I've got 70 kilos in each hand on these farmers things, and I'm taking them for a walk. So at the moment, I've done that today. I'm loading up the plate, and I've got to make sure I'm doing each arm right, and just standing it for a 10-second hold, in the hope that I will be able to run down 10 metres in 10 seconds with these in each hand. But then I'm going to have to drop and then run another 10 metres. So that would make it end up being a 20 minutes, muppet, 20-second run. But if I can do that, I will. Right, so that's 3. And then the fourth event is another stone run. So it's not, again, I'll carry on doing what I've been doing for stone runs. The weights are pretty okay. Should be able to carry on doing what I've done for the first comp with what I'm doing with that at the moment, which is, yes, it's a lighter weight, but I'm putting them up for speed. So how fast I can, basically, I'm throwing the bag up, pick it up to there, get to about there, and then let it drop down. So it's I'm gonna how fast I could throw up these things. So I mean, I do working about getting my breath quick before I lift, because I like to get a good big solid brace before we're going to do the stones. So the sandbaggers. So it's like get all the air in, but that slows me down by about a few. Say that's like even 2. Say it's 2 seconds I'm taking before each lift. So that's 2 when I've done the stone. 2 times 4, 2, 4, 6, 8. So that's 8 seconds I'm adding to the time before I'm actually lifting them. And then it's how long it's taken me to lift from the stone up to the top of the platform. Back in a second. So, where is my... Oh, there we go. Found it. Yeah. So, how am I actually putting all of this into a program, building it together, exercises I'm choosing, stuff like that, I shall tell you. Right, first, my first exercise, I build up to what it feels like a good working 3 rep max. What I'll do, I'll tell you what I'll do. The past couple of days, what I've done, I'll let you know what I've done and why I've used what I've used. So for the first day, that was so for Monday, I went for 3 rep max on a. I'm calling it an axle clean, but when I'm doing that, I'm going to do that little thing people do when it's not really what it is, an axle clean, which is basically a fat grips barbell clean for 3. When I get to my working set of 3, what basically feels like a nice heavy 3, I'll then do 3 more working sets of the heavy 3. So I'll do 4 sets of the 3 rep max that I got for the day. And that's exercise number 1. Then for exercise number 2, I've gone for a 5 rep max of a push press from a rack. So I'm taking the movement of the competition day, which is sort of like floor to overhead, and I've cut it in half. So I'm like, right, so I've got my 3 rep max from floor to clean, so floor to the rack position if you like. And then the second exercise, again, I'm going with sub-maximal weights. I've gone for 5 reps, 3 sets of that. The following exercises, this is now assistance work. So it's things that you A like and B are going to need. So I would say A is need and B is like. So yeah, I done some single arm bent over rows, so trap 3 raise and some IYT raises. Just in case you're not sure, I mean, you can find anyone else that can tell you just as good as I could. But that's basically a dumbbell on each arm, and you go up for I, there for Y, and that for T. So, and then I done doing some focused on some core work as well. Done some like hanging twists, so working more on the obliques. And then today, well, I started with deadlift. Went up for my 3 for the deadlift. Then for the 5 reps, I've done paused deadlifts, just so I can sort of like focus that initial pull on the with the legs, and then of course from the pause, it's just all hamstrings and back strength. Take the actual legs out of the equation. And I've done some rowing again then, barbell rowing. Done some good mornings. What else did I blooming do? Oh, I should remember. I'd have written it. Ah, no, I do remember. I done my Dinny stone hold for that, and then I finished with some hanging leg raises. Just want to make sure that just because I'm not got a ripped showing six-pack anymore. There's no excuse to not be working your abs and your obliques. You want a good, strong, solid core, so you need to be working the part of the body. So yeah, so that's essentially what I do. The first exercise, sub-maximal 3-rep max. Second exercise, again sub-maximal 5-rep max. And then I'll have 2 or 3 accessory exercises which I put on the end of that. And that's normally 3 sets of 10 reps. And yeah, I like to make sure I am doing some version of what I'm doing, possibly twice a week, because I'm going to have the next working day is another pressing day. I'm going to make sure I put in some extra tricep work on that day. Then the fourth day, that's going to be a squat day, because I don't, again, for me, I need a day for the legs. I mean, even though I do a Romanian deadlift on my squat day as a secondary exercise, I treat the Romanian deadlift as more of a hamstring exercise than I do a back exercise. Although, yes, the back does get some involvement in it, but I really focus on the stretch across the hamstrings with my Romanian deadlifts. And then on Saturday, it will be the competition training day. And that's just basically I'm recreating, that's me doing everything I'm going to be doing on the day itself. So yeah, that is my personal way that I would program myself if I had a competition coming up. If there's a competition in the wind, you need to be practicing what you're going to be doing on that day. You don't want to be caught out and like, I don't have a clue what I'm doing here. So that's why, I mean, this competition that's coming up, the events, I mean, obviously the Farmers Handles, that is one that I'm gonna have to think of something. I'll feel, if I know I can hold on to 70 kilos in each hand, I'll feel that's halfway there. It's just what might happen when you've got the weight swinging backwards and forwards. Yeah, and like I say, are the fat grips the same as a proper axle? No, but like I said, I don't know. Maybe I'll get a nice little small windfall come out of nowhere, and I'll be able to buy a bit more equipment. But for now, you make and men do. And yeah, that's it. That's it. Anyway, if you're listening, you're interested in this, drop in the comments about yourself. Do you follow any certain protocols when you're training ready for a competition? Or do you just stick to the same way that you train, however you like to do what you like to do? Drop a nod in the comments, don't be shy. If you are after, the shameful plug now, if you are after a strength coach, maybe you want to compete, maybe you just want to get stronger, maybe you just want to try something completely different from whatever you've been doing, do hop over to the website www.paulharleylifts.co.uk or pop over to Instagram, give us a follow, slip into my DMs. Woo! And yeah, we'll see if we can do some work together. Right, I am cooking. Right, the food's starting to go a bit crazy now, so I better go away, and this video's gone on for a wee bit long. If you have lasted the entire, what is nearly 25 minutes, thank you very much. And as always, keep strong, keep happy and keep healthy, and I'll speak to you all later. Ta-da.